Hello and welcome to another edition of Sports Select Sports Talk. My name is Mitchell Clinton, your host. You know what, let's get right into it. Let's get rid of all the preamble. That stuff just gets in the way anyways. Let's kick things off with, oddly enough, and it's a nice little play on words, the opening kickoff. The Canada West volleyball season is underway. The U of M started out with a win over the U of W. That rivalry is just, I love that rivalry. It's the best. You know, Mount Royal's joining Canada West out in Calgary, and they're trying to get a rivalry going. But you know what? The U of M, U of W rivalry, it's established. There's a Duckworth challenge. The Calgary's got a lot of catching up to do, in my opinion. The Westmen had a weekend series as well against Mount Royal. The U of M hosted Calgary, oddly enough. Nice little segue there, I must say. Rankings going into the season lead to some optimism if you're a volleyball fan here in Manitoba. On the men's side, the Bison started ranked at number 5 nationally. Now, you might remember that last year, they got all the way up to number 2. Now, Garth Pischke in a press conference last week mentioned you know what, we're pretty much the same team. They lose Ryan Munt, who, I mean, in his Canada West season had over 1,000 career digs. Like, you don't just replace that right away. But a lot of the young guys that they have coming in have picked up the slack, and that team is rolling right along. They swept the U of W, so I mean, they didn't skip a beat whatsoever. A little bit of injuries in the preseason, but they seem to be rolling right along at this point. Now, on the women's side of things, the Bisons came in tied for 5th. They now have that. As of the U of W game, they have it all wrapped up. They're just sitting at number 5 by themselves instead of being tied. So there you go. That's kind of showing on the U of M side. On the U of W side, Casey Schouten, a rookie there, who you might remember from our MHSAA broadcast last year of the 4A men's volleyball final. It doesn't seem like his transition to Canada West is going to be any bit of a problem for him, at least on paper. He led the Westman men's team in kills with 11 against the Bisons last week. Now, the women's Westmen, yes, they've lost some veterans. Lauren Sears, number 1 to be mentioned, but some good pickups. Alyssa Kidd from Glen Lawn, that's a good pickup as well. Combined with veterans like Carlene Crichel, they're going to be all right. Coach Diane Scott over there, she's going to get them motivated, and they're going to be a team to reckon with come the Duckworth Challenge and the rest of the Canada West season. Also, 2 opening kickoffs today. The Winnipeg Goldeyes open the defense of their 2012 American Association Championship on the road in Grand Prairie May 17th. If you're wondering when that home opener is going to be, May 27th. Now, Paul Edmonds, this isn't official or anything, but there is some rumors circulating that they're going to bring back the Hall of Fame game. And you might remember the Hamiota Red Sox jerseys last year. They're looking at Birtle Blue Jays this year. Now, that's just the rumor. Don't quote me on it, but that's just the rumor. That's what's going around right now. A number of Can-Am teams will also be coming. A total of 17 times the Goldeyes will play Can-Am teams this year. You might remember Quebec last season. They're a Can-Am team. You're going to see some different ones this year. That's still yet to be determined, but in total, you're going to see a total of 11 teams coming to Shaw Park for that 2013 season. So Goldeyes.com is the place to go for you if you want to circle some games to go check out. Moving right along to the Pat on the Back Club. This week's Pat on the Back goes to Baseball Manitoba and specifically Matt Dunstone. Baseball's governing body in the province has their awards night coming up November 17th. That's in Brandon. And Matt Dunstone will be the recipient of the Midget Player of the Year. Matt Dunstone is from Winnipeg, so congratulations to him. There's your pat on the back. Well, I mostly just hit my shoulder, but I got a microphone here that I don't want to scuff up and annoy some people that might be in the studio at this point. A big congrats to him and all the award winners this year, of course. The date of those award presentations, once again, November 17th at the Royal Oak Inn in Brandon, Manitoba. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Jack Van Dam, the commissioner of the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. We'll be right back on Sports Select Sports Talk.
Memories we cherish, moments captured in time.
This is Matthew Halton of the CBC.
I'm Mr. Sinclair.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans in the United States.
I just keep on thinking about you.
Do you remember? How could we forget?
There was a time in this fair land. Oh, a strong wind. How's it going, eh?
Merry Christmas.
Mr. Levesque, have you become a symptom?
No.
Canada's recorded treasures help keep them alive.
Tim Burke and Joe Mack may be getting applause from the players in the room, but they both know the offseason will be anything but a walk after a difficult 2012 CFL season.
Our record this year is not acceptable. That's
That's plain and clear. And we, going forward, we won't. That's not acceptable next year too. We're creating a vision for the organization that will build a strong strategic vision for the football club going forward. Joe and Tim have the liberty and the plan to make changes where they see fit for football operations, but the expectation is to win football games and to be a playoff team, and the quest for the Grey Cup is there each and every year.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Tim Burke.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers signed Burke to a 3-year contract, making him the 29th head coach in the team's history. The move came shortly after CEO Garth Buchko informed MACK he would return as general manager in 2013. On the to-do list now, assessing the quarterback situation and hiring a new defensive coordinator.
Anticipate hiring a defensive coordinator. I mean, I'm always going to be involved in the defense. I'll always be a headache to that guy, you know. But no, I mean, I want to make sure that the guy that I hire is a guy who's familiar with the type of defense we play, and you know, I feel certain I can get that guy very soon.
But it's imperative.
Heart aches for Buck Pierce because, you know, Buck, you know, people won't realize that, you know, how hard he wants to compete and how hard he works through injuries. And, you know, it's just unfortunate that he's had to endure a series of bad luck events. We'll have to sit down as a staff and make some hard evaluations. And, you know, we haven't really started in earnest on that yet. And again, I think we're too close to the situation right now to do it totally unemotionally. I'll be the first to admit that, you know, I have the greatest respect for Buck, and it's going to be a difficult process, to be sure.
For Shaw TV, I'm Mitchell Clinton.
Only Health Check has the Heart and Stroke Foundation's dietitians behind it. Check for Health Check, helping you make healthy choices.
9 individuals and 5 teams make up the 2013 Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame class. 6 of those individuals have a Winnipeg connection, including Brian Hodgson.
Oh, that was an experience and a half. I could talk about that for hours. Just a trip to China. I'll never be in China. That'll be the only time I'll probably ever be there. And just to see the country and be recognized as a participant in the Olympics was something spectacular I'll never forget.
Absolutely. Had some great times out in Bertle. Met great people. The fans out in Bertle are unbelievable. Like, just the support that they gave us, it brings tears to my eyes, and they deserve it, like 100%. That town definitely deserves to be honored that way, and I couldn't be prouder.
Certainly, it's an honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, recognized by your peers in the baseball community here in the province. I was very involved in playing midget and juvenile back in the 50s, but then I got away from baseball, went to university, and was working in places with hydro where it wasn't conducive to play baseball, but I got back once in a while, and I did a little first base coaching when Miami was in tournament ball.
The way I did it was running hills. I ran it by the Sawcheck Arena there. I probably run in my lifetime probably 4,500 of them, and yeah, you know, it was like Forrest Gump. I just kept on running, you know. It's.
Welcome back to Sports Select Sports Talk. I'm your host, Mitchell Clinton. Joining me now is Jack Van Dam, the commissioner of the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. Jack, how you doing?
Great, and thanks for the opportunity to attend your talk show and promote our league.
Of course, not a problem. I mean, the MMJHL is just one of the leagues you can go check out during this NHL lockout. Great hockey at the MMJHL level. So, Jack, let's just get right down to it. I mean, another season underway for you guys. How are things going? Good.
We've got 10 teams again this year, right. And it makes it better for scheduling and for playoff matches, and you know, the league is progressing. We've got some talented hockey players again, and some of the competition, some of the teams that were kind of lagging behind in the past years have now advanced. They're in the top group, so that's also good to see. Transcona, the new team, is, you know, they've got a very young team, and the big challenge for them right now is to keep their players and parents motivated to keep with the program, and things will improve. So.
And we'll touch on Transcona in a little bit. Just give us some background information on the league itself. What age group is the league for? What type of player does it attract? And I mean, one thing that's different about your league compared to, say, the Manitoba Junior Hockey League is the age difference. You can have a 21-year-old player provided they played their 20-year-old year in the MMJHL. So I guess some background info on the league and what kind of player it attracts.
Sure. Our league is geared to players between the ages of 17 and 21. And as you mentioned, the 21 age group, there's a rule in our league. You have to play within our league as a 20-year-old and be on a final roster to play as a 21-year-old. So our league is attracting you know, talented, competitive players that like to play that level of hockey and are continuing on with their education or starting off in their careers.
All right, so now you mentioned the Transcona Railer Express a little bit earlier. I remember being at the press conference when they came back, lots of excitement around the team, stumbling out of the gate, but I mean, any expansion team that comes back into the league like Transcona is doing, you're going to kind of go through those ebbs and flows. You mentioned some of the teams earlier that started in that kind of position and are now starting to show that progress. I mean, talk about, you said it's better for scheduling, but it must be nice to have a team that had to pull out, getting them back in there.
Yeah, for sure. I was at their home opener, and they had approximately 300 fans. And I was at a game last Sunday night, and I couldn't believe it was at the River East Terry Sawchuk Arena, playing the River East Royal Knights, and the Transcona team. I couldn't believe the parking lot and the streets, like it was full. So they are getting a very good following. Yeah, so again, they're progressing. The big thing with them is to keep their heads up and working hard every night.
And it was a group effort, really, to get them back into the league. I mean, I recall that press conference that we mentioned a little bit earlier. There was, when they started to bring up the number of people involved, I mean, to unveil that logo, I mean, it's person after person. It was really a huge effort by that kind of area of the city to get them back into the league.
Yeah, and, you know, there are 10 directors or people that are involved and has spearheaded to get this team back into our league are all former players, and majority of them are business people within the community. So they did attract a lot of community interest and sponsorship for sure.
And now you talked about teams that progress forward. One of the teams that progressed forward last year was the Raiders. They were one of those teams that were kind of basement dwellers for a while, really gave Charleswood a good run. Doing it again this year almost seemed like New Jersey, new attitude, and it's a good thing that they're also one of those teams that's kind of progressing along.
For sure, and they're continuing on this year. They're challenging Charleswood for first place overall. I've been out to a few of their games, and again, providing great entertainment.
And I mean, we talked about Charleswood. They're the cream of the crop, really, in the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. We spoke earlier in the show the crazy, I mean, number of times that the Winnipeg Goldeyes have won the Organization of the Year. Charleswood, since 2000, has won 9 titles and 4 in a row leading into this year.
Right. And, you know, they run an excellent program. They have great people running their program. It's very attractive for the players within that area of the city to want to and strive to play for the Charleswood Hawks. And
now concussions are an issue in a lot of levels of hockey. I mean, you can talk NHL whenever it gets back on the ice, AHL, junior hockey, and even in the MMJHL. I mean, it's always a concern. Is it something that you see a lot of in the MMJHL, or is it mostly, I mean, is it something that, I mean, you deal with case by case?
Yeah, you know, I don't think we're seeing more than some of the other leagues. We strive and we push for the kids to be wearing their mouth guards. There's a Hockey Canada rule that, you know, if they're found without their mouth guards, they can be penalized. So our officials, our referee in chief, they've stressed at the beginning of the year to ensure that the players and the coaches are kind of watch over it, that the mouth guards are in place, and that does help reduce, from my understanding, the amount of concussions. So.
And of course, those penalties always happen at the worst possible time. So always have that mouth guard in.
Right.
If you like what you hear about the MMJHL, MMJHL.ca is where you can go for the 3 S's: schedules, stats, and scores. You can keep up to date with the league as well. And I think there's a 4th S, standings. Yeah, you might want to follow those as well. You mentioned officials. The MMJHL is a great league for officials that, you know, are trying to make that jump. You know, from doing, say, you know, midget AAA hockey. They've been at that kind of level for a while. They want to get up into the higher levels. This is kind of a good first taste for them.
Yes, for sure. And we every year bring in new officials that our referee-in-chief has evaluated and checked on their abilities. So we're a league for development for officials also. And we've had some success, if you say that's our success, but some of our officials have gone on to higher levels and even to the pro leagues.
And that's exactly what you want to see. Now, the NHL lockout has kept fans obviously out of NHL rinks, but have you mentioned some of the games that involving Transcona earlier. I mean, packed houses. I mean, that speaks to the committed fan base that they have, but also the fact that I think people in Winnipeg are just starving for hockey. Are you guys kind of seeing a little bit of a difference at the gate?
Yeah, that's kind of the reports I've been getting, is that the fan base has improved. Again, with no NHL, no Jets channel, no Jets hockey, there is a void, and our teams are reporting that they have noticed an increase in fans.
If you want to check a game, MMJHL.ca, once again, just making sure that that's out there. Let's move into my favorite part of the show, quick hitters. Besides my minute of fame. My minute of fame, you know, when it's just all me all the time. Yeah, I like that, okay. But quick hitters, very, very close second. I'll just ask you a question. If you want to elaborate on it, you go right ahead, Jack. But sure. Otherwise, if you want to be straight up and be in the true spirit of quick hitters, you go right ahead. Okay. Do you have a favorite logo out of all the MMJHL teams?
Charleswood Hawks.
Charleswood Hawks?
Yeah.
Transcona. I like Transconas. You know, it was very dramatic at that press conference, waiting for it to be unveiled. It was very much like when the Jets unveiled theirs. Transconas, I like that one.
Great.
Best part about being commissioner?
Just meeting people.
Meeting people, yeah. All right. Your favorite place to eat in Winnipeg?
Hermanos.
Very good. I like that one too. Is there any particular MMJHL rivalry you love to watch?
One that comes to mind is the Charleswood Hawks versus Fort Garry Twins.
Excellent. That's a good one. Circle those ones on the schedule, that's for sure. But I mean, like we were talking about earlier, the Raiders getting involved in that rivalry too. So pretty much just circle all the games and kind of get to one as you can. MMJHL.ca again, of course, the place to go. And finally, favorite part of the MMJHL season? Is it playoffs, All-Star break, opening weekend?
Playoffs are always exciting.
Love it. Jack Van Dam, the commissioner of the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. Thanks for joining me on the show today.
Thanks, Mitchell, and thanks, Shaw, for allowing this opportunity.
Of course. We'll be back after the break with the Tweet of the Week and my Minute of Fame right after this.
With those words, the Verdant Oil Capitals got their 2012 Manitoba Junior Hockey League Showcase weekend underway against the Winnipeg Blues. The Showcase is a special weekend for the league, with all 11 teams playing 2 regular season games in Winnipeg.
Over the 9 years that we've had our Showcase, we've had, you know, dozens and dozens of scouts every year. This year in particular is very well attended. NHL, NCAA, Western Hockey League, all kinds of scouts, CIS, and they just look at it and see it as a very, very strong opportunity for them, for the scouts, to see all the players in the league all in one weekend and really give them a real benchmark for where the players stack up.
And players from the MJHL seem to stack up well against their competition. 28 players from the league accepted athletic scholarships last season and made a good impression on Showcase weekend.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I signed with Western Michigan just last couple weeks, and the MMJHL, I think, has really helped me with that. They've given me the opportunity. They've brought in the people to see me, and I'm really excited. I can't wait to go. Exciting, obviously. The process of playing and getting recruited is exciting, and it was fun. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to going up there for next year and looking forward to the adventure that awaits.
Although his Winnipeg Blues couldn't get through Virden on this night, head coach Don McGillivray is happy his players have increased exposure on weekends like this.
It's even more rewarding when you see a player who maybe didn't have those goals and objectives to come into it, and they end up going to university and getting a great job because of their experience. And I think that that's what this level's for. It's about helping players get to the next level, and at the very least, helping them become good citizens.
For Shaw TV, I'm Mitchell Clinton.
When you wish for something wonderful to happen.
Sometimes it can make you forget
about the needles and the pain.
And get through this thing.
Forget about being stuck inside.
Laugh with my family.
Go somewhere really amazing and get through this thing.
The Children's Wish Foundation of Canada. Imagine the difference a wish can make.
Winnipeg Blues have been putting pucks in the net more often than any MJHL team this season. Even though the year is only 10 games old, the Blues have already put 50 shots past opposing goaltenders. That makes them the league's best in that category.
Especially when you have some talented players, they tend to figure out how to put pucks in the net. So sometimes players don't want to necessarily do the greasy work and play the way they need to play in the defensive zone or in the neutral zone to be successful. So that's something that we will work on continually throughout the season.
20-year-old Daniel Feynman says there is no secret for the team's early season offensive success.
One thing especially is that we have so much depth. We have 4 lines that can score, 4 lines that can contribute. So we have no issues right now finding the back of the net. It's a great feeling, especially when you can play with any other guy on the team up front. It's nice to know you're always surrounded by other good players.
But even though the team wants to stretch out the offensive push before it comes to a halt, keeping pucks out of their own net is just as important to the Blues coaching staff.
Ultimately, we want to be a good defensive team. I think that at the end will be the difference for the teams that are, trying to win the championship. So I think it's good that right now we're getting contributions from a lot of different areas, and that should make us a better team going forward. But certainly the focus will be on the defensive side of the puck.
The players agree, even though they'd much rather work on more flashy plays in the offensive zone.
Yeah, I guess so. No, I'm just kidding. It's good. We like to focus on defensive stuff too, and focus on not allowing them to score lots of goals. He runs a good practice. We kind of just go with the flow and let him do his thing, and we just follow along.
For Shaw TV, I'm Mitchell Clinton. Welcome back to our final segment here on Sports Select Sports Talk. I'm Mitchell Clinton once again. We're going to go right into the tweet of the week, and this tweet comes from Aaron Cohen. It came shortly after the uprights were put up at Investors Group Field, and I thought he made an interesting point. The tweet says, "I still think they should have made the seats say Blue Bombers, like some stadiums in Europe." Now, I thought it was interesting mostly because I couldn't narrow down exactly what he meant. So here's the 2 scenarios in my head, and Aaron, feel free to tweet at me after you see this and tell me how badly I've butchered what you meant by this. But the first is the individual seats would say Blue Bombers on them, which I think would look cool kind of around Investors Group Field. But yet I think what he was actually going for was using kind of the color scheme of the blue and gold. When there's no fans in there, it says Blue Bombers kind of written out in the seats, which I think would look pretty cool. But you know, by that same token, when we were there for the uprights there, and Justin Pilardi kicked those field goals, he kicked 3. I mean, they were from 15 yards, but hey, he got it off to a good start in Investors Group Field. Either way, we'll take any positive Bombers news as it comes. That place looks phenomenal. It's going to be completely worth the wait. Looking forward to it. Now, if you want your tweet on the tweet of the week, tweet at me. On Twitter, it's just that easy, at mclinton007. Moving on to our Minute of Fame.
my minute of fame. The CFL Hall of Fame weekend took place in Winnipeg over this past weekend. What a great honor for the city of Winnipeg to be able to host it. A total of 6 inductees were celebrated, and me being a bit of a younger guy, my memory only goes as far back as Milt Stegall and Damon Allen. They were 2 of the inductees that went in. Now, being a Bombers fan all my life, all 24 years of it anyways, and I don't know if I could recall exactly what football was for, at least the first 5 or 6, but Milt Stegall was always a joy to watch for me, and I mean, this doesn't come as news to anybody in Winnipeg, but I remember things like the touchdown that broke the all-time touchdown record. I mean, the crowd was crazy. The Canadians was shaking at that point. I remember the last-second touchdown in Edmonton that Milt himself calls one of the greatest plays in football history. Always such a modest guy, Milt Stegall, and a jokester too. He put out on Twitter he's looking forward to getting back. He was looking forward to getting back to Canadian Stadium for the 2nd annual closing. Oh, Milt Stegall. Oh, Milt. Milt also has a scholarship named after him that was presented earlier this year. One of the recipients was Manitoba Bison's women's volleyball player, Taylor Pischke. I can't count how many photos Milt was asked for, but you know what? He did each and every single one. Always a good guy. And I think what made the weekend so enjoyable is that a player like Milt Stegall, who has given so much to Winnipeg and the Blue Bombers, was able to be honored here in the city. Other inductees like Tyrone Jones also played for Winnipeg. But overall, no matter what location Hall of Fame weekend is held, it's a well-deserved weekend for all the inductees and a great weekend for the league. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, we'll close our show now with the video from the bust unveiling that was held a couple of days before the official induction ceremony here in Winnipeg. So we'll take you to that, and thank you for watching Sports Select Sports Talk. We'll see you next week.
3, 2, 1. Class of 2012. You can take a look, gentlemen.
You're looking at the 2012 inductees to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. The accomplishment meant something a little different to each of this year's honored members.
I'm so honored to have played with so many great players and to be identified and signaled out in this way. I can only say that I give all the praise and glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus, and He's the one that got me through everything. And 20 years of football, 11 in Saskatchewan, and but yeah, I am so honored, so thankful, and I really appreciate you guys taking the interest. It's neat. It is surreal. To see that. See me on the bus, yeah, I'm just thankful. I just really am.
It does look like me because on my game day and those situations, I was always a serious player. And, when I look at it now and look at all the variety of different pictures that you've taken over your career, I like the serious side of me because that's the way I play the game. I'm humbled because growing up as a young kid, it wasn't on my sight. All I wanted to do and dreamed about was winning championships at the levels of football that you're playing, from junior Pop Warner to high school to college to the professional ranks. And so Hall of Fame is never on, I think, anybody's sight. But when you get the call, and it's funny how I got the call because I called the commissioner called me, and right away I assumed that he was saying that I'm gonna meet you at this event and this is what we're gonna do, and he says no, I'm calling you for you're inducted to the 2012 Hall of Fame, and you're just humbled by when you actually hear those words.
Oh, it looks great. You can't get Milt Stegall on. The only minor detail, I thought they were going to put my abs in there. That's my best attribute, but they decided they couldn't do that. But no, I'm very excited. I wish I could take it home, but it has to go back to Hamilton. But I mean, like I said, everything so far has been great.
Totally surprising for me, and I took a look at all these people that are in here and the ones that I was familiar with, and so it's still very difficult to believe the situation has arisen for me, but terrifically honored and excited about it.
No, it's exciting. I mean, it's such a great class, being with Mill Stiegel, Damon Allen. I mean, it's a dream come true. I mean, and especially on the year of the 100th anniversary of the Grey Cup, I couldn't ask for better. I was so surprised when Mr. Cohan called me and told me that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, I didn't have Damon Allen's career. To be beside those guys into the Hall of Fame, I mean, it's a dream come true.
It's a great honor. Tyrone always spoke so highly of Canada, especially Winnipeg, and he was always worried about not being remembered. And I told him, I said, as much mouth as you had when you played football, everybody will remember Tyrone Jones. So this is a great honor.